My name is Heun. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and run the Global Psychiatry Archives, and I'd like to continue our series Mental Health Disorders Explained, and we already talked about normal brain aging. Today or now I would like to talk about normal personality and what's normal. So there are different approaches. One is more or less a nomothetic and an ideographic approach. Ideographic approaches mean you focus on the person and its development and what comes out of their lives. And the other nomothetic approach more or less look at what would be normal compared to others. So, and in these nomothetic approaches, there are more or less two major approaches. One is categorical, so we have different types of categories and traits which are more dimensional, and I come to these dimensional ones later. So I start with the different ones which are types. So we usually look at specific types of personality, such as narcissistic personality. We have a video on that, so that would be something, or histrionic personality. That would be something where the features of histrionic or narcissistic personality disorder would be included, and to some extent accepted as the normality, but as long as it's not causing a major problem to the person or others. So there are different models as well, and the oldest one is by Hippocrates, who came up with the choleric, so mean more or less explosive person, sanguine, more or less friendly, melancholic, sad, and phlegmatic. So these are the main types which have been proposed thousands of years ago, and they still haven't changed. What's more common today is that we use trait approaches, and one of the early one is Ising's three-factor model, which has neuroticism, extraversion, and psychoticism in the three dimensions. Other people have come up with different models, and Costa and McCrae have a five-factor model: neuroticism, extraversion, openness, but this is very similar, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. Then there is Cloninger's seven-factor model. Initially it were much less, so only three, but he came up with novelty-seeking, harm avoidance, reward dependence, persistence, self-directedness, cooperativeness, self-transcendence, and there are also other models which have more factors in it. So example being Cuttle's 16-factor model. Usually what has been accepted more or less is this Big Five model, which is similar to Costa and McCrae, and one can show that there is something in it because there seems to be some heritability in people that twins have, and adoption studies have shown that there is some genetic factors in these personalities. Usually, so we have two nomothetic approaches, one more or less like a type approach, and others trait approaches, but there's some overlap, slightly overlap in that. Different from that is the ideographic approach, and it's trying to understand an individual personality depending on the depending on the life and what they did in life, and how you can understand their development to the persons they are at the time when they're then assessed or when they're seen by others. Right, in these ideographic approaches, there's psychoanalysis, humanistic approach, anthroposophic approaches, and CBT, cognitive behavioral approaches. And for psychoanalysis and humanistic approaches, there's little scientific validity, and the CB or cognitive behavioral approach is a bit going very much with the traits. The one big question is whether a personality is stable, because people sometimes react violent to violent situation or difficult situation. So the question is it the situation? Is it the personality? And I think, as you would expect, there's lots of agreement that both play a factor. So let's say it that way, you can't be aggressive to another person if you're on your own on an island. So in this respect, you would say then there is no aggression, so it's just a situation, and possibly it is. And the other way is, if you've never been aggressive under situations, then aggression or being choleric is not a problem, or it might be the only factor that plays a role. So I think there's an overlap of different things, which doesn't really help in science. I think the science of personality disorders and personality is different and to some extent strangely disconnected. That means the science of personality and science of personality disorder do something different and don't talk much to each other. Okay, that's for today. Normality of personalities and the theory behind that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will like it, and if possible, subscribe to our channel and enjoy the next videos on mental health issues. Thanks for your attention today, and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Goodbye.